Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. This is Jay Motti. And on the moment that Manchester United announce an official agreement for Antony, we are here with the BetMate sponsored preview. I love it.
The Leicester game, the Leicester preview.
Leicester.
And it's a good job that some of us,
Yeah.
not mentioning any names,
Go on.
have put Antony in our team. Because that could have blown up in your face. He might not have even been a United player. But he is. Because we've had the Comunicado official just as we were going live. United have done one of those tweets, which is pretty beige in it, to announce a player.
Right, I tell you what. Am I the only person in the world that misses the piano? That misses Stormzy getting involved? There was a peak moment where transfer announcements were fun. Yeah. Now we're so burned and we're so scarred and we're so embarrassed on social media that instead of doing like Antony, what is it, like a tour through the town he was brought up in, and then it all turning and going down and then Old Trafford rising around him with some CGI mega package. Yeah. Instead of it being that, it's just the words Antony on a screen.
It is proper like college project tackle.
Even Birmingham are trying harder than that.
That Birmingham Hannibal announcement.
It's not like our social media isn't embarrassing enough anyway.
Yeah.
Like what were they tweeting last season? Stuff like reasons to not want to fucking
stuff like Liverpool 5, United 0.
Yeah. Reasons to be
City
happy
4, United 1.
Like genuinely.
That sort of stuff. The scores.
Yeah, the scores were embarrassing enough. Put some work into it. You know what I mean? Having parachute into Old Trafford and film it from a distance. Like it's the start of fucking Godzilla.
If they had any sense, right, they'd use that CCTV footage.
That's funny.
That's funny, that,
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, do you know what I mean? Someone's got a new job. Someone's getting sacked.
Yeah.
Someone's got a new job.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah. The guy who filmed this, the guy who stole this footage is sacked, but look who's replacing him. Do you know what I mean?
Think outside the box, man. Anyway, he's here. Antony's here. So can he play then for against Leicester even?
Yeah.
He can. Well, I hope so.
Well, he better be.
Do you know what I mean? You'd think so, wouldn't you?
What
you don't
is
spend
this?
85 million quid on someone, so give him a week off.
Yeah.
Get him in.
I'm sick of this whole work permit shit. Fucking hell. Honestly. Who cares anyway? Just let anyone work in any country they want to work in.
Shouldn't have borders.
They shouldn't.
Hey,
Really? There isn't any, is there?
I love the fact that when we were travelling in pre-season and we were sorting out your visa, one of McCall's arguments at the airport when we were struggling with your visa was we shouldn't even have borders.
We shouldn't. And I said that at the time, and I was, blankly refused my entry to Australia.
Whilst I might agree with that sentiment, I don't think that's going to bypass the visa route.
Well,
we shouldn't even have borders in countries. You know what? You're right. Come on, get on this plane.
Text Richard Scudamore, whoever's in charge of the FA. Tell him Antony's playing on Thursday. What are you gonna do about it? Fine us.
Just pick him.
Just pick him.
Just let him run out. What, you going to take him off the pitch then?
Yeah. What are you going to do? Dock us points? Yeah. Don't think so, mate.
Try it.
Good luck docking us points when we've already got none. Do you know what I mean? We lost the game. You can't give us minus. Oh, you can give us minus points. Okay. Well, please don't. We apologise. We won't do it again. I just imagine all this work permit visa shit taking weeks. Who was it who took absolutely ages to get?
Rowo.
What is that?
Do you remember that? And the best thing about Rowo's work permit is he had a criminal case hanging over his head that no one knew about.
And they still got one.
Well, they knew about it. No one had checked. It was like, oh yeah, didn't he smash a bottle into his neighbour's head or something? It's like, oh, he's due in court next week. So that's why he can't fly over here.
He's a golden boy. And all we want to do is play with him, a little tricky winger on the right-hand side. No. That's all we want to do.
Yeah.
Let us do it on Thursday.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
On a scale of 1 to Antony.
Antony, how excited are you?
About Antony?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely 5 out of 10 excited.
Because that is massively underwhelming, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you,
I'm 5 out of 10. I'm mediocre.
I'll tell you for why.
Excited. Go on.
Because the other 5 out of 10 is reserved for the sort of fear and anxiety I have around him not living up to his price tag in the media.
You're
and on
forgetting
social media.
One massive element to this.
He's world class.
Erik ten Hag doesn't get it wrong with transfers. Malacia, already, in my opinion, the 3rd best left back we've ever had. Right? Factual. Martinez, the best centre-back we've ever had. Factual. Right? Ericsson, undoubtedly, it's not even debatable, the best midfielder we've ever had. Right? Yeah? Casemiro, the 2nd best midfielder we've ever had.
And even in that 16 minutes.
That 16 minutes was pure genius. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just remind you of something?
Please do.
After not just 1, but 2 years.
Yeah.
Maguire.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Even to a certain extent, Dan James.
Yeah.
All seemed like successful signings.
Right.
Let alone 4 games.
Yeah. You're forgetting one big thing. They all were.
Right, you've just gone, haven't you? You've just gone.
You've just named 3 of the best players United have ever had
on earth. Right. Okay. So Antony,
yes, as you can say, I'm not a 5 out of 10. I'm a 9 out of 10.
No, in terms of excitement, if the not factoring in the other stuff, I am an 8 out of 10 excited. I think he's a very good player. I think he's just the sort of player we need. And I think something else that we're realising at United is how much mentality counts. Like, look at Martinez. Yeah. Look at Malacia next to him. Yeah. Look at Eriksen even. Like, the amount of work they are putting in. Yeah. Every single game, every tackle, every recovery, every sprint, every ball over the top, everything, they are giving 100% of themselves for it. Sprinting hard, working hard. If we can get that out of Antony, that will make a big difference in that front line. I'm not saying that the players we've got there at the minute are lazy or not trying hard enough, but you will notice a difference. I think players that really are intense and that sprint and that work hard every single minute of the game. Casemiro is another great example of that. It does make a difference to players that are cruising through games at times last season.
What was, the main difference when Ole came in as caretaker? He didn't change all the players. No. Yes, he gave Pogba a more prominent role, but it wasn't like he had a whole host of a new squad to work with. He didn't. No. He had the same players that Jose Mourinho had. The difference was they all started playing for him because he knew how to put an arm around people, how to get the best out of him, how to give him a bit of a confidence boost, how to be nice to people when Jose had been pretty toxic towards the end of his United time. And all of a sudden, we went on a record-breaking unbeaten run and got some amazing results. Won at the Emirates, won in Paris. Do you know what I mean? Won at Chelsea as well. Like, there was all these results. You go, wow, this is amazing. And it was the same players that had been getting battered pretty much under Jose Mourinho. And it was because the mentality shift. Now, like you say, you look at Martinez who's come in, you look at Eriksen, even Malacia, his energy. His energy is fantastic. Do you know, he's not necessarily the best left back you've ever seen, but even when someone beats him, he gets back in position quick enough to make another tackle. Yeah. So you've got to give him credit for that. I'm just going to get into some of the super chats before we move on. Michael says, super excited to see Antony rip it up. Love the content you guys produce. Cheers from Cape Town, lads. Love South Africa. Thanks for that, Michael. And he's also a member of the first team. I'll have a look at some of the other chats as well. People sort of talking about... the announcement video. Johnny Watson says, Bruno, hardest working in the team. He's always worked hard, Bruno. I think what we've seen recently is him channeling that energy a little bit better. Yeah. Because sometimes he's a bit erratic. That's
why he was so successful when he came in, because he shocked the rest of the team by working so hard. Obviously, he's got the quality there as well. Someone like, again, he might not be the best example of this, but someone that springs to mind on that front is Raheem Sterling, who his finishing ability is poor, average to poor. His passing's okay. Technically he's decent on the ball, but he's not a world class, magician. No. But because his work rate and he tries so hard and he's so relentless, he's had 30-goal seasons for Man City. And he's a player that, if you put him in this team for United last year, would have looked awful because, just one player like that by themselves. But if you get a mentality change that Ten Hag is bringing in you have to try hard every single game. And if you don't, you'll be running the extras in training the next day and I'll run it with you. That is massive. Yeah. And just that's the thing that I think people underestimate with Ferguson and, Pep's doing it at the minute, as much as it pains me to say it, is getting players to be mentally at their peak and have the effort at its peak for a decade in a row is so difficult. It's almost impossible to do it because, that's the thing. I think the thing that Jose struggles with. Yeah. He's so explosive in his methods of getting players to work for him. It's so us against the world, like hunkering down in the war bunker, and we'll stick it out until the enemies freeze outside. That's Jose's method. But the way Ferguson did it over 20 years, essentially 93 to 2013, of keeping players perennially at their mental peak is so difficult. And if Ten Hag can do that, I think we'll see a massive change in this team. That's why Fergie could win league titles with Darren Gibson and Tom Cleverley in midfield and Anderson,
the G-bomb,
because he had every single person working to their potential mentally. And if Ten Hag can do that, which we're starting to see, that will make such a difference in terms of results.
Well, some bad news for you.
Fuck off.
I'm sorry. James Duck has just tweeted. Antony deal agreed. Won't be available for Leicester as visa won't be ratified in time.
What is ratified? Turned into a rat? Yeah. Look at this rat.
I'm sorry.
I think... Have you ever seen The Witches by Roald Dahl?
I've read the book. I've not seen it. No.
Those kids get ratified, don't they?
Oh, do they?
Turned into little rats.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be available. Well, James Ducker has spoken. We've got him coming on the channel later on this week. sorry to be the bearer of bad news. You're not going to see our Antony at Leicester. Yeah? With that in mind...
Fuck off.
Wow. Let's go to our predicted 11.
With that in mind, stitch me up then. Go mine first. Right wing, Antony. And you know what? I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
I think he might play.
Can I put Roy Keane in mine?
You can put Roy Carroll in. I'll give you that. Roy the Rovers.
Right, forget the Antony. We'll get to Antony in a minute.
No, I'm sticking with him.
Right, okay.
So here's my team. Back five picks itself. There's no justifiable reason to change any of those players in that back five.
Okay.
Except maybe David De Gea, but we don't have a viable option as it stands. Dubravka.
You're not dropping him after Southampton, are you?
You're not.
Well, okay.
Don't need to say anything else more about it. Martinez has been an absolute revelation, and I think the same with Malacia as well. Again, Malacia is a great example. Not maybe the most technically gifted player I've ever seen.
No.
His tackling isn't Wan-Bissaka's one-on-one. His crossing isn't, Trent Alexander-Arnold's, but he is a very effective left back because of his application and his energy. And I think that's what Ten Hag's trying to bring, and something we've lacked for so long. Then in midfield, I've made two changes. McTominay for Casemiro, I think, just as in terms of upgrades, that makes sense. It's the most similar profile of player. Switch one out for the other one. The other one is Fred, who I think comes in for Eriksen. Not just because I think Eriksen might struggle with the press that Leicester put on if they're at their best. I know they've been struggling. And also I think giving Casemiro a sort of a binder in that midfield, speak the same language, they've played together before, I think that would be a good way to bring Casemiro in. And also, Eriksen's played, is it 90 minutes in every game? Certainly the last three. And
he got subbed in, I think, the last game.
Yeah,
he looked a bit tired, though.
Yeah,
he
did.
See it call with him.
The last 20 minutes against Liverpool, he could barely sprint. The last 15 minutes against Southampton, the same. I think get the legs of Fred in there, get Casemiro in, I think that's a decent midfield, although I'd like to see Eriksen if he's available. And then on the right wing, I've gone for Antony. We've just signed
It's a shame because you've got a Portuguese-speaking sort of vibe going on there, haven't you? And that would have topped it off. Never mind.
No, I still think he'll play, despite the fact that he
despite him being, literally unavailable. You still think that we'll get around that? We'll go with the old Adam McCullough argument. I don't believe in borders. Yeah. I don't believe in visas.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're going to play him, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Which is a really weird statement that has come to sort of prominence, isn't it? Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Okay, just chill out.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Always ask for permission. Antony on the right wing. Sancho on the left wing.
What is going on?
Rashford up front. But, if it were to be the case that Antony wasn't allowed to play for us for some, basically human rights reason, I would probably say that it's going to be Elanga on the right.
Right, okay. So, my team is very, very similar to yours. I've done something a bit sort of out there, though. I've
picked a player
I've gone with the players that are available. I know it's crazy, and I know, people have been, what are you doing, Jay? Why have you done that? And, Anthony's a very talented player.
Can I just say something to you, Jay?
Yeah, of course you can.
Your inability to stray from the status quo is quite frankly sickening.
Yeah, I know.
Picking players who are registered to play.
Yeah.
Get a grip of yourself.
I know, I am just that guy who just, abides by the rules and regulations. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, you can't pick him because he's physically not able to play. So what? I should go for it. But no, I've gone with Sancho on the right. Elanga on the left. This is predicted. So this is what I think the team will be. I agree with what you said about the midfield. I can see Fred playing alongside Casemiro. I think Casemiro will start. Back five, you're not going to change that. And I agree with the Eriksen thing. I think he has looked a little bit knackered towards the end of the game. He's played a lot of football, and he, come in pre-season, played once we'd signed him, and then He played not just played, but played well as well. He put shifts in.
I know, obviously, the actual reason I think he won't play is because he has looked knackered.
Yeah.
For the last 2 minutes of games. Is there some, is it just my sort of bias and, incorrect thinking that there would be some reason that he shouldn't be stretched as far as other players because of his condition or because of what happened to him? Or is that just me thinking, look after him? Is there any reason that he couldn't just play every week?
I don't think so. I think he could.
Not that we've been made aware of.
No, I
anyway.
think he's. Okay. I think there's sort of the common sort of theory and knowledge around it is that he's as fit as anyone.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? He can play every week if you need him to. Give him a 3-year deal as well. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's like, you can play against Liverpool and Southampton, but then you can't play the next game because that's too much for that. I think it's just a case of genuinely a 30-year-old player who's played a lot of football recently, who also had a bit of a spell where he wasn't playing as regularly, was it? Even before his incident, he wasn't always playing for Inter Milan.
Last 2 or 3 years, he's not.
Yeah, he wasn't always playing at Spurs. Then he went to Inter, was playing for a while. Then he wasn't. Then obviously the incident happened. Then he came into Brentford where he got a run of games. So I think you have to and also rotating with Eriksen. I always thought he was going to be rotated anyway. Yeah. I didn't see him starting every game.
No,
certainly not since Casemiro's coming as well. You think, okay, there's going to be a bit of rotation because otherwise you're going to say that Fred's never going to play or somebody's never going to play. What are you smirking at?
My brain's just gone down a little alleyway, but I don't want to discuss it with you.
Okay.
I was going to say, you're a big fan of rotation generally, aren't you?
Yeah, go on.
Like a spit roast. Like, when you see the chickens in Morrison's and they've all got those rods through them and they're just rotating around in that oven.
Is that the spit roast you're talking about, right?
Obviously.
The ones in Morrison's?
Yeah, when you see the full of it. And
then
you
I'm
see
glad
the
you
bottom,
clarified
that little grease trap that looks like some sort of dirty slime-filled urinal.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a go on that. With a bit of bread, dipping it in. That Morrison's spit roast grease trap.
I feel like one of us is doing a preview and the other one's just having a
nervous breakdown. Yeah, I was going to say, I have been a bit worried about you recently. I hope everything's all right.
There's something going on over this side of the table. I don't know what it is. I'm trying my best to keep up.
And we're going through a tough time.
It's impossible.
No, I'm not. Right. I'm having fun, Jay.
Yeah, you are having fun. I'm glad for you. There's some filth now going on in there. You've started something here now. I'm not even going to discuss any of that absolute sordidness. Right. Anyway, let's move on. Shall we talk about the opposition?
Yeah, not been good, if to put it lightly. They've not won a game so far this season.
Consistent?
They've been shit, basically. It's almost like the same time United have. Like, do you know that game, was it 4-1 or 4-0 or 4-2 against Leicester last season?
4-2, yeah.
Where they battered us, basically, and that was the beginning of the end for Ole.
Yeah.
Almost since then, they've not been very good. Since Christmas last year, they've been very poor, and they've started very poorly this season. They look to me like a club that is in the process of needing a new manager. Do you know when a club, they just get to the point where we can't turn this round? I'm not sure they will. Obviously, Rodgers is a good manager and he may well, have another few years there, but they look like a club that is just completely stale. They've not done much in the transfer market. Rodgers can't seem to get a tune out of them and hasn't been able to for the best part of 9 months. They've started very poorly at the start of the season. Dewsbury Hall, who, thanks to BetMate for sending those stats over from Opta as well. Games played 4, chances created 3, goals 1. It's not particularly impressive, but there isn't really anyone that's been impressive for them so far this season because they've been so bad. Yeah,
they have struggled, and you think with Rodgers, he's a good manager, but he's got that in him where things can start going wrong and he can't turn it around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've seen it before. We saw it at Liverpool, didn't we? Where when he started losing games, he couldn't really stop the rot.
No.
And also with Leicester, you always get that feeling that one or two players, they lose 1 or 2 players, sooner or later that's going to push him over the edge. Vardy's not the force he used to be. They've always relied on him quite heavily. He's no longer playing. They lost Kasper Schmeichel. I know that's not like the end of the world, but he was a big personality and a big player for them. And now Wesley Fofana is about to leave.
Yeah, they need some signings.
They do, and obviously they've only got 2 days to do it, and you have to wonder what sort of signings they're going to be able to get in. Because I wouldn't expect Leicester to go down. I think there's a lot worse teams than Leicester City in the league.
Yeah.
But like you say, if Rodgers doesn't turn it around, these owners who have spent money at Leicester, I know they've made money, but they do care about the club, and I think they care about the club enough to do something about it. We've already seen one managerial casualty, obviously, with Scott Parker at Bournemouth.
Which is insane, by the way.
Do you think it's warranted? Just quickly, do you think that's warranted?
No. I think it almost was for insubordination rather than the results, wasn't it? It basically came out and said, if we don't sign him, we're fucked.
We spent 24 million quid this summer,
I know.
Which is just not going to keep you up.
Beating Villa, then losing to, was it City, Arsenal and Liverpool?
Yeah.
It's hardly a disgrace, is it, when you're Bournemouth?
I know one of those losses was mightily heavy. It's funny because, is it Jack Ross as well at Dundee United lost 9-0? He's been sacked as well, hasn't he? So, it's all happening. Anyway, sorry.
Should we talk about our BetMate picks?
Yes, let's do this. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Go on then.
So, as everyone's aware, our previews this season are brought to you by BetMate, which is the ultimate fantasy football app. It's not a bookies. You're playing against each other in the community.
Yep.
Yeah. So if your team's better than Jay's, you'll get more money than him. You don't have to beat the bookie or anything like that. It's literally who's better at fantasy football, win cash.
Yeah.
Here's my team. Check this bad boy out. I've got, all the big hitters.
Yeah.
Delo, Malassi, I think they had 21 points between them last week. Fernandez always can get a goal. Got one the other day.
Yeah.
Casemiro, just nice and fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
because tackles actually get you points in this.
They do tackles and interception as well. Like I say, it's powered by up to stats, so they go into some detail and things like. Usually, it's everyone aims just only for goals and assists when it's done to fantasy football, and I get that. But here you can see there the graphic from what you can get points for, interceptions. You get a goal points for tackles. And obviously goals and assists as well are the big ones. So there's no denying that. Yeah. But there's other ways to get points. So I understand why Casemiro's in there, because you think he's going to get some tackles and interceptions in, don't you?
Make sure you check it out as well, because last week, Cal, who's one of our viewers, came in, used the referral code Paddock5 and won £199 on his first time using the app.
Boom.
That's a decent return, that, isn't it?
That is.
So if you want to have a chance of being like Cal, use the link in the description and use the referral code Paddock5.
Alex Bagley, the housewife's favourite in the office, said he won £6, right? And if he'd have done what Cal did and made Bruno his captain, he'd have won £60.
Yeah. And obviously, because there's less players there, it's not a full 11, it's only 7 players. Yeah. Your captain is even more crucial because you don't have the rest of the team to spread it out across. So your captain gets 2 times the points. Your vice captain, unlike others, gets you 1.5 times the points. So it's important.
There's Baggers'
you go for that.
team
Look
from
at
last
that.
Week.
Foolish. Jadon Sancho, come on, think about
Pathetic.
it. Pathetic. But yeah, there you go. Let's have a look at.
Let's have a look at mine then. Come on then. There you go. See, you've gone Casemiro. I've captained him. Yeah. Why are you frowning?
Why have you done that?
Right, you get money or points. Sorry, you don't get money. You get points.
Get money.
You get points for tackles, interceptions, and goals. What is Casemiro known for? Goals. Right. His goal scoring record is memorable. Yeah,
certainly.
I fancy him to get a goal.
Really? Because this is his debut.
Yeah.
Full debut.
Do you know what I mean? He's just going to dominate this game, like in a way that's never been seen. It's going to be like Roy Keane in Turin. Yeah?
Okay.
So I've captained him.
And you got Rashford in there as well?
Yeah, Marcus, who got a goal against Liverpool, did well, and then didn't really do too much against Southampton, but I fancy him for this one. To step up, and Bruno, back amongst the goals, vice captain. There's points there, isn't there?
Yeah, 1.5 times.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And I've put Harvey Barnes in from the Leicester side of things. I was tempted to go with Dewsbury Hall after I saw the stats from BetMate from Opta, but I've gone with Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, he's a decent
little player.
You also get a free £5 bet once you enter any paid pot. So join our pot, obviously. Go up against Jay, go up against me, go up against Bacola, Alex, everyone at Stretford Paddock. See if you can beat us. But again, use the code Paddock5 and you get a £5 free bet once you join any paid pot. Sensational.
Good stuff. In the super chat, right, forgive me if I get this one wrong. Tolu Walase Adi Sanya says, despite their woes, we've struggled to beat Leicester in recent times. I think a win against them will show true progress from us. Yeah. Do you know what hurt last season? It was Leicester at home, wasn't it, where Elanga tackled Marcus. Do you remember? And Rashford needed a goal, and we needed it. It was like it would have been the winner. It was like 93rd minute or something. And not only did he fouled him, basically knocked him over. It was offside, so he couldn't have even scored himself anyway. And then Bruno argued with the ref it should have been a penalty. And the ref is like, no, you don't get a penalty if your own player fouling the other one.
Should do.
Well, you should do. But
still got fouled. Somehow did it.
Yeah.
Did Marcus Rashford get fouled in the opposition penalty box?
Yes. Therefore, it is a penalty. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a particular low point last season. Hopefully, we won't have any more of them this season.
Yeah, definitely. Give me a score prediction then.
I think we'll do them.
Yes.
Yeah. They're at a low ebb. We're high flying. Yeah. What was the Scousers the other night? 9-0. I don't think we'll quite match that. Do you know what I mean?
10-0.
Yeah. 10-0. We're going to break the record. No, I'll go with a pretty conservative 3-0.
Wow, nice. I'd like that. I'd love.
Macca's in the chat. He says Stonewall penalty. That. Thank you, Macca. That's what I argued at the time. Sorry, he's gone 3-1 United.
3-1 United. I like this. A few goals. I think it'd be nice to see us score a few goals.
Yeah,
because it feels like we've not had a big victory to celebrate in absolutely ages. I'm going to go with. No, I don't actually think it will be. I think it'll be 1-0 United again. Tight, cagey victory. 1-0.
Do you know what? I don't mind that.
I'd love it to be 4.
Do you know what I mean? Listen, a win, any win would be great. Get 3 wins on the spin. How long it's been? Feels like years since we've done that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go through a couple of score predictions. Rojo's Toes says 4-0 United. John Piper says 3-0. Neil Driscoll says 2-0 United. Shabdu Sabut says 5-0 United.
Nice.
Lots of United wins here. Dead Polar says 4-0. DWM says 2-0 United.
There's a bit of confidence at the moment.
Urban Peterson says 2-0. And Psychedelic Man says 9-0.
It's nice to see that confidence because all the games up until the Liverpool match, I know there's only 2, but since basically Christmas, there was about 25 to 50% of people saying, I think we're going to draw or lose this. Whereas now, it feels like we genuinely think we can beat teams lower than us in the league, which hasn't always been the case. But it hasn't, though, has it? No. Last year, the only team in the bottom half we did the double over, I think, was Norwich.
Let's not forget, we've won 1 of the last 8 away games and lost the other 7. So it's like...
Which was
you could argue that our confidence is somewhat misplaced, but we have we have won the most recent one, which is what matters.
Do you know what it's like? Do you know when a spider's web gets knocked away and then it has to start making a new web? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. At first, it's going to be threadbare and easy to blow out in the wind. But every win, we had another layer, another rung of silk web to our away record nest. Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you check out BetMate. The link's in the description. Use the code Paddock5. You get a £5 free bet once you join any paid pot. Join our pot. Make sure you go up against Jay, who's Captain Casemiro, which could be an absolute touch of genius. Thank you very much for joining us. I think we win. We're back to our best.
We will win. Don't worry about that. We're back at 4 o'clock as well. I've got another live video, so make sure you check it out. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, hit subscribe like you said if you haven't already. Hit like on the video as well. And we'll see you in a bit.